the Adhan and the Iqamah. Learning objectives. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my friends. How are you? It's great to see you again. Today our lesson will be about the Adhan and the Iqamah. Are you ready? Let's begin. Do you see what's happening here? Why do Muslims go to the mosque together at the same time? It's because they heard a call summoning them to prayer. This is why they stopped what they were doing and went to pray in the mosque. The 5 required prayers have a call from Allah Almighty that lets people know when to pray. The call for prayer is the Adhan. Does anyone know what is said in the call to prayer over the loudspeaker to get people to come to prayer? Let's learn it. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu anna la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hayya as-salah, hayya as-salah. Hayya al-falah, hayya al-falah. Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah. What should a Muslim do after hearing the Adhan to prepare for prayer? They should repeat after the Adhan. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "When you hear the call, say what the mu'addin says." The mu'addin is the person who makes the call for prayer. This noble hadith means that when we hear the Adhan, we should repeat after the mu'addin and say what he says to receive the same reward as him. Except when he says, Hayya as-salah, hayya al-falah. In this case, we should say, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, which means there is no power nor strength except by Allah. This is the only time when we don't repeat what the mu'addin says. Does anyone know the dua that we say after the Adhan is done? Let's say it together. The dua is, O Allah, Lord of this complete call and established prayer, grant Muhammad the intercession and favor, and raise him to the honored station you have promised him. Verily, you do not neglect promises. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, who says upon hearing the Adhan, O Allah, Lord of this complete call and established prayer, grant Muhammad the intercession and favor, and raise him to the honored station you have promised him. Verily, you do not neglect promises. My intercession will be granted to him on the day of judgment. What did the Prophet, peace be upon him, mean when he said, My intercession will be granted to him on the day of judgment? It means that for whoever says this dua after the Adhan, the Prophet, peace be upon him, will pray to Allah Almighty on the day of judgment to grant him entry into paradise. After repeating what the mu'addin says and go into the mosque for prayer, do you know when the actual prayer starts? When the prayer is about to commence, another call, known as the Iqamah, is recited. It is as follows. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu anna la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hayya as-salah, hayya al-falah. Qad qamat as-salah, qad qamat as-salah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah. And when a Muslim hears this call, they are obligated to stand and focus in their prayers, for they will be in the presence of Allah the Almighty. It is not required for us to repeat after the mu'addin when he recites the Iqamah. We ask Allah Almighty to make us among the people of prayer, and that we always repeat after the mu'addin, so that we may enjoy the reward of the Adhan just like him. Now who can tell me what we have learned from our lesson today? Let's summarize. We learned that the 5 required prayers, which Allah Almighty has commanded, have a call that reminds people to pray. This call is known as the Adhan. We also learned that it is required for Muslims to repeat after the mu'addin in order to attain a good reward. We learned that there is another call to prayer that serves as a reminder of the start of the prayer by the Imam. It's called the Iqamah. Finally, we learned that it is not required for Muslims to repeat after the Imam when he recites the Iqamah. Instead, they are only obligated to stand up for their prayer and be focused in their prayers, for they will be in the presence of Allah the Almighty. We have come to the end of our lesson today, my friends. Goodbye for now. I will see you in the next lesson.